Hey folks, today we're going to talk about the bedside computer. You may notice that there are things missing, like there used to be a computer tower over there. Now instead there's a trash can. And there's a laptop there now instead of a computer screen. What the hell is going on here? Well, I'll tell you. I decided to switch back to a laptop as my bedside computer. And I did for several reasons. A couple of them being that when the power goes out and I'm trying to get to sleep, I'd still like to be able to watch a video or two to help me fall asleep. And that's not so possible with a desktop machine, unless you have a UPS. But a UPS does not last very long, so it still really wouldn't be worth it. Number two, after a while, once, I've been getting older and I've been getting wiser, and I'm starting to realize that having a desktop computer next to your bed, that's a bit weird, man. It's kind of easier to deal with laptops next to the bed. And the reason I refused to use a laptop next to my bed for so long is because that 17-inch MacBook Pro was just so huge that it was difficult. It was cumbersome to have on my nightstand here, but this laptop isn't. You may be wondering what this is. I've made a video about this before. It's the HP Elitebook 8460p, which is what I have next to here. I have that and my trackball, and that's it. I use the speakers that are built into the laptop. It's plugged into the power strip down there, and that's really it. So, let's take a look at it. See, it doesn't look that offensive on the bed either. I can open it, and it just looks like there's a laptop there. And it's worked out really well, actually. I was worried about the keyboard because the keyboard I was using before, as you can see, was white. And it was white for a reason. Because in the dark, it's easier to see a white keyboard. If you look at the Elitebook, it has a black keyboard because it was made in 2011. I mean, it's going to have a black keyboard. That isn't so much of a problem. Let me turn the machine, wake the machine from sleep here, so we can take a look at it. As you can see, I have the brightness all the way down on here. Turn this light off so you can see that. It's running Debian Linux, as you can see. Yeah, where's the system monitor? There it is. 8460p. It's running Debian 8. Has the classic Sandy Bridge business class laptop configuration of a Core i5 2520M at 2.5 gigahertz. I put 8 gigs of RAM in here to make it usable. And yeah, it's been a great machine. It has the AMD graphics on board. You cannot switch to Intel. You have to use the AMD graphics. Let's see if I can tell you what it is. 7400 series. I'm not sure what chip this is, but it has a gig of graphics memory. Runs on PCI Express 2.0. It's, I can't quite remember exactly what chip it is, but it's not a very powerful chip. It doesn't have a very high memory bandwidth, but it gets the job done for what I need. It runs Second Life fairly well, which is really all I care about. It also displays video just fine. The fan doesn't seem to get that loud either, and it's just been a great machine. The one thing I wanted to address on this machine was the black keyboard and seeing it at night. Well, I picked this laptop for my bedside one because it had one feature that I just found invaluable. Let's say you were in the dark and you just couldn't see this keyboard and you wanted to see something real quick. On a ThinkPad, you would have to hit function spacebar or function something else up here to get the keyboard light to activate, or in the case with some newer ThinkPads, you get the backlit keyboard to activate with function spacebar or something. Now that's not that difficult, but I just like a solid way to do it. Instead, what I do with this Elitebook is I reach up to the screen and hit this button, and my keyboard light pops down. Now that's a lot nicer to do in the dark instead of fumbling with your keyboard. I like laying here thinking, I want to type something, but I can't see my keyboard. Reach up and hit the button. Done. I like that. HP has done a great job with that. The Elitebooks, I think, are some of my favorite laptops ever, and this is for reasons like this. Just simple convenience is a nice factor in this. So it does all the same things that my desktop bedside computer did. It's still a Sandy Bridge computer, although it's a Core i5 instead of a Core i3 now. But the Core i5 and the laptops are still dual core hyper-threaded. So, you know, that is what it is. It runs pretty well. The speakers are not the greatest, though, I have to admit. At least in Linux they aren't, because they don't have the special equalization that they do in Windows. And the bottom of the case rattles a little bit when particularly bassy sounds are played, but I don't play this laptop that loud, so it really doesn't seem to make a difference. And of course, I don't use, when in bed, I actually have to reach farther to use the trackpad or the track point, so I still use my Logitech trackball here and just thumb around on the screen like that. Seems to do just fine. The screen is 1366 by 768, so for watching videos it's fine. It does at least 720p, which is good enough. It still looks good for this resolution of a screen, so, you know, there you have it. I just thought I'd let you guys know that I changed my bedside computer to this laptop. I think this is a much better setup than before. I kind of wish I'd thought of this a while back before, because it was a good idea. Oh yeah, I didn't explain the rest of the specs either. I seem to be doing this a lot lately. Jeez. Anyhow, it has a, I decided to take the 480 gigabyte Intel SSD out of my T420 and stick it in this machine. Because I figure if I close this laptop and put it to sleep every single day, that's going to wear out the hard drive very quickly. So I put the SSD in here instead, because that I think can withstand on and off a little bit more. And has 8 gigs of RAM, has the Core i5 2520M, has the AMD onboard graphics that came with these machines. 7400M series, I forget exactly which one, maybe a 7450 or something like that. I have no idea. But it might even be a 6000 series, and that driver might be wrong. I don't know. But the point is that AMD graphics are in there, and they serve their purpose pretty well. So there you have it. That is the bedside computer. I changed it to this HP Elitebook 8460p. Another really great workhorse as far as business class laptops go. If you're ever a fan of the old of MacBook Pros, and you didn't like the fact that you couldn't service them, these HP Elitebooks are for you all the way. These things are fantastic. Anyhow, that is the bedside computer now. It's a much more simplified setup. I think it's a much better way of doing things than having all this crap all over the nightstand. I mean, look at all this. This is what used to be on my nightstand, and look how much of a mess it makes on the floor. Minus the fan and the amp and that box over there, but everything beside that. Look how much of a mess that made. So much more stuff than just having a simple laptop there. Now, that was the idea when I used my MacBook Pro here, but of course that was a 17-inch laptop. It was huge. It wasn't practical. This laptop is, and I finally have a laptop with the graphics power and with the CPU power to sit next to the bed and use, which is nice. So, you know, there you have it. Definitely a good option. I know people were telling me before that I should have been using a laptop to begin with. Well, the problem is the laptops were too big back then. Now they aren't. So I see myself using laptops with Intel graphics or even AMD or Nvidia if I'm lucky enough next to the bed for quite a while into the future. So pretty cool stuff. Hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good one, everybody. Ciao.